juga jika pelawat kena beratur panjang untuk mengisi maklumat diri secara manual setiap kali mahu mendaftar masuk. Sistem kod QR sedia ada pula memberi peluang kepada penggunaan maklumat yang tidak tepat. Jangan bimbang, gunakan MySejahtera Check-in. Urusan pendaftaran pelawat akan lebih terurus. MySejahtera Check-in merupakan sistem pendaftaran dan pengawalan kemasukan pelawat secara berstruktur dan seragam ke dalam sesuatu premis. Pelawat hanya perlu menggunakan aplikasi MySejahtera untuk mengimbas kod QR premis yang dilawati. Mudah kan? Untuk mendaftarkan premis anda, lawati laman web rasmi MySejahtera, tekan butang Daftar MySejahtera Check-in, masukkan nombor telefon atau alamat email dan tekan hantar. Jika anda berdaftar menggunakan nombor telefon, masukkan kod OTP yang diterima melalui SMS. Atau, jika anda berdaftar menggunakan email, tekan pautan yang telah di-email. Kemudian, isi butiran premis anda seperti yang dipaparkan dan tekan hantar. Anda akan menerima kod QR MySejahtera untuk dimuat turun dan dicetak. Tampal kod QR tersebut di pintu masuk premis untuk diemas oleh pelawat. MySejahtera Check-in boleh digunakan di semua premis seperti kedai, kilang, restoran, pejabat dan pengangkutan awam. Apa tunggu lagi? Daftarkan premis anda dengan MySejahtera Check-in sekarang.
Perubahan besar dan inovasi yang datang bersama teknologi digital telah mengubah dunia dengan luar biasa sekali. Pada hari ini, kita tidak perlu menyesuaikan diri dan menguasai teknologi tersebut. Seperti mana negara-negara maju yang lain, Malaysia mengiktiraf kepentingan menguasai teknologi melalui pembangunan pelbagai inisiatif. Antaranya industri 4.0 bagi menyokong pelan induk ekonomi digital. Namun begitu, kebergantungan tinggi terhadap teknologi digital turut membuka ruang kepada ancaman luar jangka. Banyak kesan buruk jika negara terus terdedah kepada ancaman dan serangan cyber. Malah jika situasi ini tidak diberi perhatian serius, ia mampu melumpuhkan negara.
Keselamatan cyber merupakan satu keutamaan dalam pengurusan keselamatan negara kita. Kita perlu beralih kepada pendekatan baru yang menggunakan teknologi terkini serta cara penyelesaian yang lebih komprehensif dan efektif. Sedang dunia membiasakan diri dengan amalan baru seperti bekerja dari rumah dan penjarakan fizikal, kerajaan turut berhadapan dengan ancaman cyber yang semakin meningkat.
Malaysia akan terus memanfaatkan perkembangan pesat teknologi digital, mempertingkatkan pelibatan strategik pemegang taruh serta memperkukuh konsep maklumat demi kesejahteraan rakyat dan negara. Tanpa garis panduan dan amalan cyber yang jelas dan selamat, kelebihan teknologi yang tersedia ini mungkin tidak dapat dimanfaatkan sepenuhnya.
Kebergantungan yang kian meningkat terhadap infrastruktur IT dan rangkaian digital telah mencipta satu ekosistem baharu di mana kita berada dalam dunia tanpa sepadan. Elemen ketenteraan dan keselamatan turut bergabung menjadi satu dengan kepesatan dan kesalinghubungan teknologi yang mampan.
Keselamatan cyber adalah tanggungjawab bersama. Semua peringkat masyarakat, sama ada dari kalangan agensi kerajaan, sektor swasta, golongan akademik maupun rakyat keseluruhannya perlu bekerjasama untuk mengurangkan risiko dan ancaman cyber. Oleh itu, marilah kita bersama-sama berganding bahu bekerjasama ke arah mewujudkan satu persekitaran cyber yang selamat dan terpercaya.
Semestinya, perkembangan sebegini menjadikan keselamatan cyber sebagai satu dimensi penting dalam agenda keselamatan negara kita.
Dalam hal ini, kerajaan sentiasa memberi fokus untuk meningkatkan kesedaran rakyat agar mengamalkan budaya cyber yang sihat sekaligus mewujudkan sekitaran digital yang lebih selamat.
Adalah penting bagi kita semua untuk memainkan peranan masing-masing agar negara sentiasa bersiap siaga dan bersedia menghadapi sebarang serangan cyber.
Oleh kerana itu, kesiapsiagaan terhadap keselamatan cyber adalah sangat penting dan perlu diberikan perhatian serius untuk kesejahteraan kita semua.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning everybody. Welcome to the Malaysia Cyber Security Strategy MCSS 2020-2024 User Engagement Session for today. My name is Azlina. On behalf of the National Cyber Security Agency, NACSA, I would like to express our thanks and also gratitude for you in joining our session for today. The objective for today's session is actually to give more exposure, briefing, detailed explanation with regards to the strategy itself, and also to explain in terms of the roles and responsibility for the relevant parties with regards to the implementation of the strategy basically. We will begin shortly, so kindly ensure that the microphone function on your webinar jam has been turned off so as not to interrupt the session that we're going to perform after this. We also allocate time for the Q&A, therefore please do not hesitate to ask any questions, even to give us suggestions with regards to the strategy. Using the chat box function on each webinar jam actually. Please be reminded to so-called state your name and also the agency that you're from. Basically, do not hesitate to ask any question basically. The questions and answer will be at the end of the session before we wrap up. So keep the questions coming for us. Without any further ado, I would like to invite the Chief Executive of NACSA, Yang Berusaha IR Masya, to deliver the presentation for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Azlina. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a very good morning to everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone here who joined us today for the briefing, high-level briefing on the Malaysia Cyber Security Strategy. So I want to share about what is MCSS, Malaysia Cyber Security Strategy, is all about, on how and when we will do it in the next session. Yeah? And I would like to take this opportunity as well to thank some of you here who involved in the brainstorming session last year, who contribute to the formulation of this strategy. And thank you so much. So let's start with what is the Malaysia Cyber Security Strategy. Let's start with the slides. Yeah. So okay. This strategy is a comprehensive strategy that covers all aspects of cybersecurity. How are we going to do it? If we're going to do it as an integrated approach, do it together through an effective public and private partnership. So all this, I mentioned about public-private partnership model, the new model that we're going to introduce, and because this is the most effective way that we think that what other countries are doing in ASEAN and other countries as well. So we will look into the people aspect, process and technology, to technical issues, legal and also policy. So it's holistic strategy which outlined hundreds of programs that we're going to implement in these 4 or 5 years. Yeah, next. So with a vision that Malaysia cyberspace is secure, trusted and resilient, and at the same time fostering economic prosperity and well-being of its citizens, we come up with a mission. In the next slide is to build our capability to that, so that we can have we can be able to predict, detect, deter and respond effectively when there is any cyber incidents, and we want to respond fast with qualified, skilled people and with appropriate tools and technology. Next. So I would like to share that how we develop this strategy. I mentioned just now we have a series of brainstorming sessions, engagement with all parties. I think involve over 140 agencies, including industries as well. And so we also look into the how we implement our previous policy, lesson learned from the implementation of a previous policy. We look into governance and approach how we do it. So during the implementation of a previous strategy, we have governance at the national level, but it is not so aligned with sectoral and organization level. So this time we want to ensure that the governance are in place at national, sectoral and organization, doing top-down approach. Every countries are looking into this. They know that we need to carry out cybersecurity programs of initiative through top-down approach. We want to ensure that the management or the board of the companies aware and understand and take priority of cybersecurity issues. Cybersecurity should be in their business model, and we want to make it cybersecurity as national agenda. What do we mean by that? That means that in our structure, in our governance structure, the highest level of security committee or council is National Security Council. We want to ensure that cybersecurity will be the permanent agenda in the National Security Council. So maybe I will share after this the governance at the national level. Yeah, and then what was raised during our workshops or our discussion session that we've done last year is most of the participants highlight about that we need a continuous engagement and information sharing platforms. So we will do it in this implementation of this strategy. We have scheduled through these 4 or 5 years continuous engagement and information sharing sessions. Yeah, and then here we will come up with a clear role and responsibility of agencies. We want to minimize duplication of roles so that everybody will play their roles effectively, and when an agency carry out their role effectively and focus to their roles, we will do it together, and hopefully you can achieve what you have visions for the next 5 years. Yeah? And we want to make all the management of the agencies understand and take priority, allocate budget so that the agency have all the security control measures in place. Next. We are also referring to other countries as well. We refer to, I think, 6 countries: Japan, Singapore, Australia, and so on what is the approach in implementing this strategy. And we refer to also to Global Cybersecurity Index criteria, because it is very important for the country to have a high ranking. As I think most of you know that since 2014, we are number 3. No, 2017, we are number 3, and 2018, we dropped to number 8. So we hope that next year, our ranking will be higher than 8. So we look into these criteria on legal part, technical, organizational, capacity building, and cooperation embedded in our strategy. Next. So we have 5 strategic pillars with 12 strategies, 35 action plans, and 113 programs for now. The programs may increase as we go along. So in the next slide, we focus to strategy pillar number 1, which focus on effective governance and management. And in this pillar, we have 3 strategies. One is enhancing national cybersecurity governance. Second is improving organization management and business operation. And third, strengthening cybersecurity incidents. So one is focused on governance. Second is on the business operation of an organization or business. Third is on incidents management. So we want to ensure that we align at national sectoral organization again. So how do we want to carry out this is we want to utilize our experts in the country as a whole. We will establish a group of experts in various areas. We want to ensure that all the agencies or organizations comply to whatever standards or guidelines that we will provide. So with this, we hope that we can achieve the mission that we set, the ability for us to predict, detect, and respond effectively. Next. So in pillar number 1, there are various programs that we outline in this pillar, which includes also to strengthen our national cyber coordination and command center NC4. One, we want to strengthen that. Second, we want to develop a new government security center. So ideally, we would like to have that one national center with all the sectoral center. And organization, they have their own monitoring center, or they subscribe to managed service, managed services that provide security services to them. And all these center, organization, sectoral will fit to the national center. So we can have more visibility. We can have early warning to all the agencies. And besides that, we will come out with a national cyber range, because maybe some of you know that now we carry out national cyber drill. We call it XMAYA, that we have done I think 7 or 8 times already. So from there we evaluate and whatever improvement that required or whatever skills that need to be improved, so we will send this group of people to this national cyber range. Besides that, besides that national cyber range, we will also utilize other cyber range in the country. There are a few companies that provide these services. We will utilize all these services that provided by companies for the agencies to participate in their facilities. So at the same time, we want to develop a national cyber forensic lab. We have a few now, but the capability is not enough to support the enforcement, to do the analysis, further analysis. So we want to develop a national cyber forensic lab as well. And okay, next slide, please. While we are doing this, as I mentioned just now, that we need to have continuous engagement and information sharing platform. We will carry out annual CISO or ICTSO conference
We will carry out a weekly ministry or organizations, ICT week, cyber week. So we will have like user engagement programs, annual national cybersecurity conference perhaps. So, and then we want to have a regular dialogue with business and industries, because when we go to other pillars, we'll focus on industry development, the promotion of local industries, and the closer engagement with international parties as well. Okay, so if you can see here that we will also provide specific guidelines for specific sectors. So I mentioned just now that if you see in this diagram that every initiative that we want to carry out in the next 4 or 5 years will involve everybody, government agencies, private agencies, industries, academia, and so on. We will establish experts group which also involve industries with in various aspects of cybersecurity. Yeah? So to provide specific guidelines to the organization, we need experts. For example, in ICS system, we want to provide a comprehensive guidelines. So experts in ICS or SCADA, from industry, from academia, we convene, led by NACSA, or we will elect leaders for those teams, either from the government or industry, to provide specific guidelines to those specific sectors, aviation, energy, etc. And to do this, we need to establish, as I mentioned, a new partnership model that I mentioned before this. So if you look into here, in this triangle, there are policy, governance, and coordination, which will be driven by NACSA. Second is critical national information infrastructure protection, which include sector leads, senior agencies, protection of SMEs, which is NACSA, MDAC, SME Corps, cybercrime, which involve all the enforcement agencies, awareness and education, capacity building, international cooperation, and national security and sovereignty. National security and sovereignty, which involve all the security and intelligence agencies. But we need support from industry as well to give their expert views, to provide knowledge and education to the government agencies. Yeah. Besides that, so we plan to do it as a national approach. In the next slide, please. So the spirit of this strategy is we want to do it together. So we want to create one big cyber force, national cyber force, which involve everybody in various aspects. So we hope through this approach we can successfully carry out or achieve our vision in protecting our cyberspace. So this is a very challenging approach, but I believe we can do it if all of you out there can contribute and support the implementation of this strategy. Next. So before I go to the strategy number 2, I would like to also please go back to pillar 1, please. We have in our industry here, our local products, local services. There are a few companies out there that already give their service or provide their products to other countries. So we want to recognize this and support this their efforts, so that we will use our local products in the country. So we will provide certifications and endorsement and circulars to the government agencies as a start to use local products. And at the same time, we will again if I refer to strategy number 1 and number 2 and 3 in this pillar, we want to also strengthen our cert. If you refer to strategy number 3, we will strengthen our certs by strengthen our national cert, establish or strengthen sector certs. Some already have, some don't, and strengthen at organizational level. So this certs team, a national cert, what I mean here, it's not at NACSA's level only, but the whole certs community. We want to strengthen the approach, the mechanism, information sharing platform, upskilling of those cert members. Yeah. So this cert as a whole will then can give response to any incidents in the country. So besides that, we are just mentioning about the series of conference, workshops, trainings that we will provide. We outline in our program for these 4 or 5 years. We will also organize an international conference and exhibition. Why do we do this? Because we want to gather all experts in the world, globally. We want to gather all the latest technology here in Kuala Lumpur. So we have exhibition, we have conference, we have meetings, regional and international level. So when we reach to pillar number 5, I will explain later on that. But this exhibition named SIDAS, maybe whoever that joined earlier can see the video about SIDAS, is a first ever international conference in the country, which involve most of the countries in the world. So we plan to do it in June this year, but because of the situation, we postpone it until June next year. Hopefully we can do it physical, but if we cannot do it physical, then we do it hybrid, physical and virtual. So this platform or conference that I mentioned will gather all experts from all the countries, from the government, from business and industry. We gather in one place. We already plan for various activities in various aspects of cybersecurity, in various sectors, to share their experience, their knowledge, and also their technology. Yeah. Okay. Next. So now we go to pillar number 2, which focus on legal and enforcement aspects. Yeah. At pillar number 2. Pillar number 2, please. What we're going to do here we'll focus on legal. We will study the current, all the act and regulations regarding cybersecurity. This one is the main priority. Is what we're going to start doing it in the first quarter of next year. And then the possibility of coming up with a special act, National Cybersecurity Act, so that we can manage our cybersecurity better. So hopefully early 2022 we have a National Cybersecurity Act. And in this pillar we have 2 strategies. One is, as I mentioned, to enhance Malaysia cybersecurity laws, and second is to enhance the capacity and the capability of cybercrime enforcement agencies. So here we will provide, develop a national cyber C2FC, Cybercrime Fusion Center, which will gather all the enforcement agencies into one place with effective tools and technology, and also will gather the ISPs, and we hope industry can support and contribute and be together in this center to carry out their role and responsibilities in monitoring and for cybercrime investigation, etc. So is one. And also in this pillar, we will also provide training and skills to these agencies, so that all the agencies will have the same capability, same skill, so that they can work together more effectively. Yeah? Okay, I think I stop. We take a break for 5 minutes, and then we will continue to other pillars. Pillar 3 is the most important pillars for the audience today. Because today is more, we invite all the industry players. So pillar number 3 is more related to industry. So I'll focus to that, and before that, we'll take a break for 5 minutes, and we continue after this. I'll see you. Thank you.
Susah juga jika pelawat kena beratur panjang untuk mengisi maklumat diri secara manual setiap kali mahu mendaftar masuk. Sistem kod QR sedia ada pula memberi peluang kepada penggunaan maklumat yang tidak tepat. Jangan bimbang, gunakan MySejahtera Check-in. Urusan pendaftaran pelawat akan lebih terurus. MySejahtera Check-in merupakan sistem pendaftaran dan pengawalan kemasukan pelawat secara berstruktur dan seragam ke dalam sesuatu premis. Pelawat hanya perlu menggunakan aplikasi MySejahtera untuk mengimbas kod QR premis yang dilawati. Mudah kan? Untuk mendaftarkan premis anda, lawati laman web rasmi MySejahtera, tekan butang Daftar MySejahtera Check-in, masukkan nombor telefon atau alamat email dan tekan hantar. Jika anda berdaftar menggunakan nombor telefon, masukkan kod OTP yang diterima melalui SMS. Atau, jika anda berdaftar menggunakan email, tekan pautan yang telah di-email. Kemudian, isi butiran premis anda seperti yang dipaparkan dan tekan hantar. Anda akan menerima kod QR MySejahtera untuk dimuat turun dan dicetak. Tampal kod QR tersebut di pintu masuk premis untuk diimbas oleh pelawat. MySejahtera Check-in boleh digunakan di semua premis seperti kedai, kilang, restoran, pejabat dan pengangkutan awam. Apa tunggu lagi? Daftarkan premis anda dengan MySejahtera Check-in sekarang.
Perubahan besar dan inovasi yang datang bersama teknologi digital telah mengubah dunia dengan luar biasa sekali. Pada hari ini, kita tidak perlu menyesuaikan diri dan menguasai teknologi tersebut. Seperti mana negara-negara maju yang lain, Malaysia mengiktiraf kepentingan menguasai teknologi melalui pembangunan pelbagai inisiatif. Antaranya industri 4.0 bagi menyokong pelan induk ekonomi digital. Namun begitu, kebergantungan tinggi terhadap teknologi digital turut membuka ruang kepada ancaman luar jangka. Banyak kesan buruk jika negara terus terdedah kepada ancaman dan serangan cyber. Malah jika situasi ini tidak diberi perhatian serius, ia mampu melumpuhkan negara.
Keselamatan cyber merupakan satu keutamaan dalam pengurusan keselamatan negara kita. Kita perlu beralih kepada pendekatan baru yang menggunakan teknologi terkini serta cara penyelesaian yang lebih komprehensif dan efektif. Sedang dunia membiasakan diri dengan amalan baru seperti bekerja dari rumah dan penjarakan fizikal, kerajaan turut berhadapan dengan ancaman cyber yang semakin meningkat.
Malaysia akan terus memanfaatkan perkembangan pesat teknologi digital, mempertingkatkan pelibatan strategik pemegang taruh serta memperkukuh konsep maklumat demi kesejahteraan rakyat dan negara. Tanpa garis panduan dan amalan cyber yang jelas dan selamat, kelebihan teknologi yang tersedia ini mungkin tidak dapat dimanfaatkan sepenuh.
Kebergantungan yang kian meningkat terhadap infrastruktur IT dan rangkaian digital telah mencipta satu ekosistem baharu di mana kita berada dalam dunia tanpa sepadan. Elemen ketenteraan dan keselamatan turut bergabung menjadi satu dengan kepesatan dan kesalinghubungan teknologi yang mampan.
Keselamatan cyber adalah tanggungjawab bersama. Semua peringkat masyarakat, sama ada dari kalangan agensi kerajaan, sektor swasta, golongan akademik maupun rakyat keseluruhannya perlu bekerjasama untuk mengurangkan risiko dan ancaman cyber. Oleh itu, marilah kita bersama-sama berganding bahu bekerjasama ke arah mewujudkan satu persekitaran cyber yang selamat dan terpercaya.
Semestinya, perkembangan sebegini menjadikan keselamatan cyber sebagai satu dimensi penting dalam agenda keselamatan negara kita.
Dalam hal ini, kerajaan sentiasa memberi fokus untuk meningkatkan kesedaran rakyat agar mengamalkan budaya cyber yang sihat sekaligus mewujudkan sekitaran digital yang lebih selamat.
Adalah penting bagi kita semua untuk memainkan peranan masing-masing agar negara sentiasa bersiap siaga dan bersedia menghadapi sebarang serangan cyber.
Oleh kerana itu, kesiapsiagaan terhadap keselamatan cyber adalah sangat penting dan perlu diberikan perhatian serius untuk kesejahteraan kita semua.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you for staying with me. So I'll continue with strategic pillar number 3, which focus on, slide please, which focus on the spurring the National Cybersecurity R&D program and promoting the creation of local technologies and competitive local industry. So on the R&D, we don't have a detailed action plans, but we will come up with a R&D roadmap, which will be driven by MIMOS. And strategy number 7 is promoting the creation of local technologies, and also engagement with our international partners who provide the technology and services. So for promoting of local technologies, we already outlined the various programs, and which we already have the approach that we're going to do it. But certain programs we already decided how we're going to do it. But there are also other programs that we don't really decide how we're going to do it. So that's what we want to engage with the industry, that what is the effective way of implementing those programs. So we will have further engagement in near future. To engage with, we will form a group or representative from the industries to sit together with us, to brainstorm and to come up with an effective approach to achieve the vision of this strategy. So we have started a few programs already with MDEC, and we start initial discussion with also SME Corps on certain programs that we identified. So under this strategy, we have programs like Cyber 100. Maybe some of you here knows that about Cyber 100, where in 5 years' time, by end of 2014, we want to come up with 100 products and services from our local country, from our local companies. Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, we already identified 6 products already. Now we want to ensure that in 5 years that we can achieve 100 products and services from our local companies. Yeah. So those are among the programs that we are already started. And how we're going to do it? For example, we have the products, we evaluate, we test it, get it certified, and we'll start with government agencies to use all those products. And then we will promote it to other agencies, other critical agencies, private agencies as well. So, and then I mentioned about CIDES just now. So we will use the Science platform to also promote our local products with all the government agencies from all over the world, all the private sectors from all over the world will be here, will be there, and we will create an environment to promote our local technologies and services that we have in the countries, that we are confident with the products and services they will provide. So this is one approach that we're going to do to promote our local industries. Yeah. So, but besides that, there will be other programs as well. If we related to pillar number 5 on the international collaboration, we provide other platforms for local products to be promoted by programs that we outline in the regional activities that we're going to do in the next 4 or 5 years. Yeah? Okay. There are various aspects in cybersecurity industry that we want to focus. One that produce a local product. Second, that provide services. Third is trainings. Fourth, provide other services like pen test, etc. Fifth, provide the expertise. We want to as I mentioned earlier, that we want to establish expert groups in various areas. So industries that have expert skills in those areas we will identify and be in our team here. So we have identified the team to provide guidelines to aviation industries, aviation sector, for example. To the energy sector, health sector. So for our digital initiative, what are the IoT the specific guidelines that we should provide? IoT guidelines, specific for health equipment. For us to carry out IR4 policy, what are the security measures that we should take into account? So those areas are the areas that we identified. We need a contribution from industry. That's why I mentioned just now, we will create a new model of partnership between government and industry to provide all the services. So we are looking into this seriously, because we know you out there are capable. So this is one of the pillars that we are focusing on to promote our local industries and to engage closely with international companies as well. We need to go to move on together. So, okay, next slide. Pillar number 4, which focus on developing capacity and capability building, and also awareness and education. 2 strategies here, with 3 strategies, with one looking into capacity and capability building. Second is on awareness. Third is on education. So here, we will come up with one national cybersecurity capacity and capability building plan. We target by end of second quarter next year, we will have this plan, which give opportunities. We will give opportunities to industry who provide training, who provide. I mentioned just now about cyber range training and upskilling of our resources, either in the government or in the private sector, CNI agencies. So we want to have a comprehensive training program. We will come up with a comprehensive training program at various for the various aspects of cybersecurity. And also, I mentioned about national cyber drill just now. We want to come up with a cyber drill plan or cyber exercise plan where we every 2 years we have a national cyber drill. Within that 2 years, we will have sectoral cyber drill. For example, transportation sector, bank and finance sector. So those sectors will have their own cyber drill with their own agencies, led by the sector leads. For example, banking sector, led by Bank Negara, with all the banks carry out drills. And every 2 years, we have a national level cyber drill. So we have done 8 times, I think, which involve 100 agencies. But we identify there is a range of there's a gaps. Some agencies are with high skill, some are not. The intention or the purpose of the drill is to identify that they must understand procedures, what they need to do during incidents, before, during, and after incidents, and to identify the skills that they have, the level of skill that the organization has. So what we need to improve. So then we come up with certain requirements that we will provide to the companies that provide the trainings and certifications. This is what we're going to do. We want to do it at national with a national level plan, and we hope by end of 2024 we will achieve our targets to have, I think in our planning, about 18,000 professionals in cybersecurity. So if I'm not mistaken, from the study that we carry out, now we have about 7,000 or 8,000 professionals in cybersecurity. So we want to achieve in 4 or 5 years, 18,000 professionals in cybersecurity. So we have to do it, aggressively, so that we can achieve what we target. So next year, while we are developing the plan, we are in Q1. We will start with the training program. So all the training institutions and the companies that provide these services, please submit your company profile so that we can evaluate and we can plan how we're going to do it. Yeah. Okay. We will also coming up with a national cybersecurity awareness master plan. This one is on awareness to the various target groups. We have the final draft of this plan. We plan to launch it in I think second quarter or third quarter next year. This plan is to give awareness to various target groups, which for CNI agencies, non-CNI, to the parents, to the children, to the youth. So we will come with a special awareness program for them. So for the industry who provide CSR in this area, please let us know, because we want to do it together, concertedly, integrated, so that we want to cover more coverage to all the target groups in the country. Now there are agencies who carry out the awareness program, but they are just doing it here and there. But we want to ensure that, to make sure that the programs that we carry out is more effective. We want to measure the effectiveness of the programs that we are carry out. Yeah. While we are building up the skills, we want to ensure that we are using the right tools as well for the trainings. Yeah, I mentioned about we want to come up with a national cyber range just now. So whatever the industry that have the tools for training to measure the level of understanding and etc., please forward to us as well while we are doing those planning. Yeah. At the same time, we are also doing the together with MDEC, upskilling and reskilling program to those target groups as well. So we have done a pilot project, I think early this year, on the women. We call it Women in Cyber. So we reskill them or upskill them. We want to have also with various people who are interested in cybersecurity. They join this program and to ensure that they can give their knowledge to the industry. So the program with the industry, I think we will discuss later, that we engage with a few companies who sponsor this initiative, and after they graduate, then they join those companies. So this is among the programs that we outline in this pillar, strategic pillar. Now we go to the next pillar. The final pillar is on the international collaboration. So here they are now they are actively discuss about cybersecurity in either United Nations, in ASEAN, in Asia Pacific, about to move forward with a better cooperation mechanism. So at United Nations level, now there are two mechanisms that discuss about this. One, they establish United Nations group of government experts, and another one is open-ended working group in cybersecurity. So the United Nations Group of Government Experts, or UNGGE in short, started I think way back in 2004. We are part of these groups. So this group is comprises of about 15 to 20 countries. So we are in the expert groups from the session 1, 2, and 3. So now is session 5. So we are not in the members of for session 4 and 5. So during this session 3 experts, we agreed on 11 norms. These 11 norms are what are the norms that required by countries so that we can cooperate more effectively. This is not mandatory, it's voluntary. But from these 11 norms agreed at this UNGGE and endorsed by UN General Assembly, so we take these 11 norms and bring back at ASEAN level. So at ASEAN, we agree that all the ASEAN members to study and how we can implement those 11 norms. Yeah. So to do this, ASEAN created a new committee named ASEAN Cybersecurity Coordinating Committee. For information, or maybe some of you already know that under ASEAN there are 3 pillars: political and security, economy, and social. So all these 3 pillars are discussing about cybersecurity. So with different members. So this ASEAN Cybersecurity Coordinating Committee also played a role for coordinate what issues were discussed in those different pillars, and we coordinate at this coordinating committee to come up with a more effective collaboration between ASEAN members. Yeah. So other initiative that already been done is under ASEAN Regional Forum member states. There are 28 member states, 28 countries. So under this we come up with a ARF ICT Security Work Plan. So we are the driver for this work plan, Malaysia, Australia, and Russia, who developed together this work plan and agreed and endorsed. So there are other activities, there are few activities under this work plan, including doing carry out exercise, etc. So we already established the point of contacts for policy, diplomacy, enforcement, and technical. So in future, more activities will be organized, which later we want to include industry in these activities. Yeah? So we want to discuss as well, we want to hear from you what are the activities that should be done at regional level so that we can bring this proposal up to the platform where there are certain level of committees that will decide or approve the proposed activities. Yeah? Currently, we are the chair for that committee. There are 3 countries who co-chair, Malaysia, Singapore, and Japan. So until I think end of next year. So because we discussed, we need to bring industry together. All the countries agreed that they are experts in industry. So how can we bring industry together to implement the programs that we are currently doing, which only involve the government agencies. Yeah. So next, So now, besides all those 5 pillars, we are now coming up with a digital economy blueprint, IR 4.0. We want to implement 5G, digital identity, supply chain that we are talking about in this environment. So we must provide a trusted and secure infrastructure to ensure that our national digital initiative will be successfully implemented. So in this I think this policy or blueprint will be launched soon, where there are a few clusters, digital economy, infrastructure, etc. Cybersecurity will be the horizontal platform to provide controls over all those initiatives, digital initiatives that the government is going to do. So this will involve a lot of technologies, fintech, smart city that we're going to implement, IoT everywhere, sensors, etc. So local industry who are looking to this, please come forward to us. That because we want to ensure that in these 5 years, start from the beginning of implementing of this digital initiative, we start with security in mind. We want to have a security by design. So before those digital initiative is done, we are thinking of security already, not afterthought. Yeah. So this digital initiative will definitely include cybersecurity as one of the main elements in the implementation. Yeah. Next. So all that I mentioned just now, we're going back to pillar number 3, with which is the main. I think that all the participants here today, I think, is from industry. So we're going to talk about this. I mentioned about pillar number 1 just now. What are among the programs that we're going to do? You want to develop control centers, you want to provide technology, you want to have security controls in the agencies. So here we'll create demand for all those initiatives, technology, training, other services as well, pen test, etc. Pillar 2, I mentioned about that focus on legal and enforcement. We want also to provide training and tools for the enforcement agencies. Number 4, about buildings, capacity, skills, education and awareness. Number 5 is opportunity. So the pillar 1 we provide demand, pillar 2 we provide the demand, pillar 4 we provide the demand, and pillar 5 we provide the opportunity for us to market our local products at the global global market. So from this ecosystem, we will deep down to further elaborate details of the ecosystem that we need to discuss together how we want to fulfill this expectation. Yeah. So hopefully in these 5 years we can achieve what we plan to do. And I mentioned just now that I want to hear from you. We have this plan, we think it will work, but before we implement it, we want to listen to you, we want to discuss with you on the various programs that we want to carry out, so that we want to ensure that we can achieve the vision that we already set. Yeah? So ladies and gentlemen, I want to mention, to highlight here that our strategy that we develop here is not a perfect strategy. So let's work together and make this strategy a perfect one. Okay, so thank you very much. I'll stop here, then we'll continue after this with question and answers. Thank you.
juga jika pelawat kena beratur panjang untuk mengisi maklumat diri secara manual setiap kali mahu mendaftar masuk. Sistem kod QR sedia ada pula memberi peluang kepada penggunaan maklumat yang tidak tepat. Jangan bimbang, gunakan MySejahtera Check-in. Urusan pendaftaran pelawat akan lebih terurus. MySejahtera Check-in merupakan sistem pendaftaran dan pengawalan kemasukan pelawat secara berstruktur dan seragam ke dalam sesuatu premis. Pelawat hanya perlu menggunakan aplikasi MySejahtera untuk mengimbas kod QR premis yang dilawati. Mudah kan? Untuk mendaftarkan premis anda, lawati laman web rasmi MySejahtera, tekan butang Daftar MySejahtera Check-in, masukkan nombor telefon atau alamat email dan tekan hantar. Jika anda berdaftar menggunakan nombor telefon, masukkan kod OTP yang diterima melalui SMS. Atau, jika anda berdaftar menggunakan email, tekan pautan yang telah di-email. Kemudian, isi butiran premis anda seperti yang dipaparkan dan tekan hantar. Anda akan menerima kod QR MySejahtera untuk dimuat turun dan dicetak. Tampal kod QR tersebut di pintu masuk premis untuk diemas oleh pelawat. MySejahtera Check-in boleh digunakan di semua premis seperti kedai, kilang, restoran, pejabat dan pengangkutan awam. Apa tunggu lagi? Daftarkan premis anda dengan MySejahtera Check-in sekarang.
Perubahan besar dan inovasi yang datang bersama teknologi digital telah mengubah dunia dengan luar biasa sekali. Pada hari ini, kita tidak perlu menyesuaikan diri dan menguasai teknologi tersebut. Seperti mana negara-negara maju yang lain, Malaysia mengiktiraf kepentingan menguasai teknologi melalui pembangunan pelbagai inisiatif. Antaranya industri 4.0 bagi menyokong pelan induk ekonomi digital. Namun begitu, kebergantungan tinggi terhadap teknologi digital turut membuka ruang kepada ancaman luar jangka. Banyak kesan buruk jika negara terus terdedah kepada ancaman dan serangan cyber. Malah jika situasi ini tidak diberi perhatian serius, ia mampu melumpuhkan negara.
Keselamatan cyber merupakan satu keutamaan dalam pengurusan keselamatan negara kita. Kita perlu beralih kepada pendekatan baru yang menggunakan teknologi terkini serta cara penyelesaian yang lebih komprehensif dan efektif. Sedang dunia membiasakan diri dengan amalan baru seperti bekerja dari rumah dan penjarakan fizikal, kerajaan turut berhadapan dengan ancaman cyber yang semakin meningkat.
Malaysia akan terus memanfaatkan perkembangan pesat teknologi digital, mempertingkatkan pelibatan strategik pemegang taruh serta memperkukuh konsep maklumat demi kesejahteraan rakyat dan negara. Tanpa garis panduan dan amalan cyber yang jelas dan selamat, kelebihan teknologi yang tersedia ini mungkin tidak dapat dimanfaatkan sepenuhnya.
Kebergantungan yang kian meningkat terhadap infrastruktur IT dan rangkaian digital telah mencipta satu ekosistem baharu di mana kita berada dalam dunia tanpa sepadan. Elemen ketenteraan dan keselamatan turut bergabung menjadi satu dengan kepesatan dan kesalinghubungan teknologi yang mampan.
Keselamatan cyber adalah tanggungjawab bersama. Semua peringkat masyarakat, sama ada dari kalangan agensi kerajaan, sektor swasta, golongan akademik maupun rakyat keseluruhannya perlu bekerjasama untuk mengurangkan risiko dan ancaman cyber. Oleh itu, marilah kita bersama-sama berganding bahu bekerjasama ke arah mewujudkan satu persekitaran cyber yang selamat dan terpercaya.
Semestinya, perkembangan sebegini menjadikan keselamatan cyber sebagai satu dimensi penting dalam agenda keselamatan negara kita.
Dalam hal ini, kerajaan sentiasa memberi fokus untuk meningkatkan kesedaran rakyat agar mengamalkan budaya cyber yang sihat sekaligus mewujudkan sekitaran digital yang lebih selamat.
Adalah penting bagi kita semua untuk memainkan peranan masing-masing agar negara sentiasa bersiap siaga dan bersedia menghadapi sebarang serangan cyber.
Oleh kerana itu, kesiapsiagaan terhadap keselamatan cyber adalah sangat penting dan perlu diberikan perhatian serius untuk kesejahteraan kita semua.
Susah juga jika pelawat kena beratur panjang untuk mengisi maklumat diri secara manual setiap kali mahu mendaftar masuk. Sistem kod QR sedia ada pula memberi peluang kepada penggunaan maklumat yang tidak tepat. Jangan bimbang, gunakan MySejahtera Check-in. Urusan pendaftaran pelawat akan lebih terurus. MySejahtera Check-in merupakan sistem pendaftaran dan pengawalan kemasukan pelawat secara berstruktur dan seragam ke dalam sesuatu premis. Pelawat hanya perlu menggunakan aplikasi MySejahtera untuk mengimbas kod QR premis yang dilawati. Mudah kan? Untuk mendaftarkan premis anda, lawati laman web rasmi MySejahtera, tekan butang Daftar MySejahtera Check-in, masukkan nombor telefon atau alamat email dan tekan hantar. Jika anda berdaftar menggunakan nombor telefon, masukkan kod OTP yang diterima melalui SMS. Atau, jika anda berdaftar menggunakan email, tekan pautan yang telah di-email. Kemudian, isi butiran premis anda seperti yang dipaparkan dan tekan hantar. Anda akan menerima kod QR MySejahtera untuk dimuat turun dan dicetak. Tampal kod QR tersebut di pintu masuk premis untuk diimbas oleh pelawat. MySejahtera Check-in boleh digunakan di semua premis seperti kedai, kilang, restoran, pejabat dan pengangkutan awam. Apa tunggu lagi? Daftarkan premis anda dengan MySejahtera Check-in sekarang.
Welcome back everyone. Thank you for still staying with our program. So as I mentioned earlier, we have already allocated time for the question and answers. So the question posted has already been compiled and I will read it through and inshallah it will be answered accordingly by Professor Ayam Asha. So the first question, Shisha, a simple one. How to register as cybersecurity professional as you have mentioned during your presentation just now?
Oh, I mentioned just now that we will come up with a plan, hopefully by end of second quarter next year. So we have a plan, and when we launch that plan, then we have that mechanism, how you want to register as professional in various areas. Now they are already have, but we want to make it more encouraging and more
convenient for everybody to register and so on. Okay.
We have the proposal already. By the way, tomorrow there will be a kick-off meeting that will kick off the implementation of this strategy. So one of the initiatives that will be presented is on this mechanism on how we want to increase our professional.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. And the second question, we are depending on overseas product, especially on cybersecurity. Does MCSS have the initiative to address in terms of the dependency, basically? I think this one is related to Pillar 1 and Pillar 3.
Yeah. That's why one of the main programs that we have in the strategy is to have our local products. But at the same time, we also continuing using the foreign products. But the process of how we want to validate the
part
products.
of the risk management.
Yeah, we will put it in line so that we can continue using the foreign products. But as well as now, we want to use more local products as well.
All right. All right, and I think this one is also pretty much related with the second questions, Is there any suggestion to do some sort of whitelisting of cyber security products, basically?
Yeah. That is part of our plan
Okay.
on how we want to come up with that.
All right. Okay, and the next question is, how is NACSA going to respond to any global threat from a local perspective, basically? I think this is the...
Again,
how NASA is going to respond to any global threat from a local perspective.
Oh, okay. That's why I mentioned just now, our strategy is a holistic strategy. We want to do it together. We want to strengthen the global collaborations. We have already have a mechanism in regional platforms. How the mechanism that we want to have information sharing before, during, and after any incidents. If something already happened in Australia, how Australia can share information with us so that we can get
our
early
people ready,
information,
yes.
then give alerts to our community.
Okay, all right. And also making sure that cybersecurity also part of our foreign policy.
Correct.
In any international events and so on. Okay, all right, Isha. Interesting questions. Where do we submit our proposal or company profile, especially in terms of helping NASA with the implementation of the MCSS?
Okay, you can email us at mcss@naxa.gov.my. So for now, we don't have any special apps or whatever, but you can email to us to the address. Again, I mentioned that mcss@naxa.gov.my.
Okay, and I think it would be good also if the company can also explain or give us in brief as to which pillar that they will be able to help us in terms of the
because
implementation.
we already have outlined all the programs. I mentioned to you just now that this is what MCSS is all about, and certain programs you already identify how we're going to do it, but some of the programs we don't decide yet how we want to do it effectively.
Yes, exactly.
So that is what we want to have a session with the industry and get their views, get their comments on how we want to do it.
Okay, all right. Okay, and then the next questions. How can international companies join this particular ecosystem that we're talking about, all the pillars and everything? What will be the procedure, and do we need to appoint a local partner?
Oh, I see. That one I have to check with the process with the Ministry of Finance. But anyway, if the company is not registered here with certain, what do you call it, header or venue, you need to register with MOF with certain, what do you call it, the header of numbers that are required in cybersecurity. So that one I have to check with the Ministry of Finance.
So, all right. And because you talk about international collaboration and so on, so there's a question about who will be in the committee for the international collaboration, basically.
Oh, okay. Now for international collaboration, there are a few ministries involved. Of course, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MINDEF, Home Affairs, Communications, and MITI, etc. But all these platforms now discuss about cybersecurity. So when there is a cybersecurity issues, NACSA will lead on those platforms. So I mentioned just now about ASEAN, around regional platform, where there are a few initiatives that NACSA leads regionally. So we have discussed that. Now the agencies that are involved are all government agencies. Now we want to include industry as well in certain programs, so that the industry can give inputs, not at national, but at the regional platform. So we are at initial discussion. When this committee agreed, then we will select representatives from industry to also involve in these initiatives.
At the same time, we can also promote their products, their best practices in the organisation and so on. Okay, next question is how can we request to be part of the sectoral groups
Yeah. Okay.
for companies basically?
Maybe the question is focused on what I briefed just now on the specific sector initiative,
Okay.
like aviation, maritime, cybersecurity, and so on. So they can propose to us, they can email to us what expertise that they have.
Okay.
Then we will include them in various
Sectors basically.
Correct.
Alright. Because we also have a lot of initiative for each of the sectors in
Yeah,
Malaysia.
there's a lot.
Yes. Okay, next question is quite long, but it's okay. Budgetary is one of the most challenging issues for private sector to strengthen the cyber security posture. Any further mandatory requirements for cybersecurity for specific sector in coming years other than banking sectors?
Yes. Okay. We have 5 pillars I mentioned just now. Pillar number 1, looking into what security controls that the organization should have. We provide a guideline, comprehensive guidelines. Pillar number 2, we look into the law aspects. We come up with a specific laws and regulation to the specific sectors. We know now, like certain sectors, like banking sectors, they have their own regulations.
The RMIT.
Bank Negara provide RMIT that the bank should comply with. So now we are going to do this for all sectors.
All sectors.
Provide guidelines, provide regulations, and you need to comply with it.
And for mandatory part, that will be catered by the law that's going to be introduced basically. Alright. Okay, next question. Does NACSA have a detailed plan on how these pillars can be executed? Maybe come up with the roles and responsibility matrix between government, NACSA and also industry players. I mean, clear roles and responsibilities.
Okay, what we have now is the clear roles of government agencies, sector leads like Bank Negara, Security Commission, etc. Not including industry yet.
Okay.
So now, when we have sessions after this, we want to hear from industry how industry can support it. Then we put in the industrial role in that. But for now, we have only the role of government agencies and sector leads and CNI agencies. CNI agencies including private sector also, but not including the industry.
The non-CNI basically. So we will start with the stock taking and then formalize it accordingly. Okay, next question, Sheikh Shah. How can training providers collaborate with NACSA in providing trainings for capacity building?
Again, you submit to us your profile, the company profile, because we have various training programs that we have. We want to do it centralized. We want to plan it. This group of people should go to which training center, in which area. This personnel should have what certifications. So you provide your company profile, then we plan how we're going to do it.
Execute, basically. Yeah. Okay, next questions. How can we, the MSSP, Managed Security Service Provider, companies can collaborate with NACSA in providing the MSS services?
Again, the answer is you submit your profile. Now, for example, there are a lot of SMEs companies, for example, that will use a digital infrastructure or digital platform for their business operation. But they are small companies. So there are programs that the government will subsidize, where the SMEs will only contribute a little and the government will fund some. And these SME companies will be, the security part of it will be managed by MSSP. So we want to plan it so that we can have a systematic infrastructure.
Okay, alright. Okay, and then how, next question is there any strategy or direction on offensive methods such as planned attacks, etc.? So not only the operators are well trained and prepared, but also capability of the local trained red team, capacity building.
The strategy will include all aspects of cyber, defensive and offensive.
Blue and red team.
Blue and red, both.
Okay. All right. Would there be any modernization on current Act regulation to address privacy needs of individual and businesses industry are met in today's digital area?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that we want to make a study first, and then hope by fourth quarter of next year we can come up with a draft of the act. And of course, we are looking into, we need to balance between security and privacy, and this come now together.
Yes.
So we are looking to both,
Yeah.
and definitely privacy will be main concern of the government. So.
Exactly, with all the current cases and so
Yeah.
on. Okay, all right. How can NACSA do in promoting our local product overseas?
Yeah, I mentioned just now about a few things. One is we will carry out the international conference and exhibition.
Yes.
SIDES I mentioned just now. SIDES is one of the programs under the action plan. Yeah? Every 2 years we will carry out this international conference. We will give a special area. We have a special programs for our local product and services to be promoted at that platform. At the same time, we are driving a few programs at the regional level.
Okay.
We will bring our industry to that platform as well. We are working with MIDA, with MDAC in this initiative.
Okay, all right. So the opportunity is going to be open to everybody actually. All right. And just now you mentioned about the cyber range. So there's a question about it. Who can actually access to the cyber range, basically?
Okay. We have training programs. We have real, what we call it, hands-on program as well. So there will be a mention about cyber drill, sectoral cyber drill and national cyber drill. We have a capacity building plan. All those. So when we identify from the performance of the participants during the sectoral drill and national drill, then we will identify and plan for them to be
in the cyber range. Okay, all right. So the opportunity is actually open to everyone also, right? And there's an interesting question also. How can we contribute to the development of the National Cyber Forensic Lab?
Oh, okay. We didn't decide that who is going to develop it.
Okay.
I think it will be the process will be a normal process.
Okay, all right. And again, I think this one is quite a repetitive question. It is how I can engage with the joint force to achieve the MCSS goal. So again, maybe we reiterate in terms of the sending us the profiles and everything to the
We want to work
address.
together.
Yes.
We want to utilize experts in the industry to be together with us.
Okay.
National Cyber Workforce.
Yep, exactly. So I think that will be all, Jesha. Those are the questions posted to us. Tough one, basically. All right. So before we wrap up the session, is there any words, final words from you, Jesha?
Okay, I really believe that we can achieve the vision that we already set out, but it will be very challenging. But we need your views. We need to engage more closer. I mentioned that this strategy is not perfect. I want to make it perfect together. So come join us in the implementation of MCSS. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesha. So we have come to the end of the session for today, ladies and gentlemen. Again, on behalf of NACSA, I would like to thank you all for joining us and stay with us, ask questions, even provide us with suggestions with regards to the strategy itself. Thank you again. Hope to see you again in other engagement perhaps, and at the same time, stay safe. Thank you very much.